Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, listeners. Let me just share this video to my main page so that we can start the program. Okay, good afternoon, listeners. It's me, Suleiman Ben Swari, coming back on Facebook Live on the Open Gambia platform. It's a brief response to the insecurity in the country. And we all have had today is Wednesday, the 24th of September 2022. The time just gone about 4 o'clock in the afternoon in Birmingham, England, 1600 hours in Birmingham, England. And I'm going to briefly react to the insecurity, continued insecurity in the country. And saying that we all would know why this reaction, the recent homicide happening in the country, when we had the government putting out a press release in America as if it's just happening. And when we saw a reaction by the police by putting a press release again, I think we have a government of press release on the issue regarding checkpoints. And to be honest, I did not even want to read the press release to understand what they're trying to do with the checkpoints, because it's just we're going to deal with that. We're going to deal with that in the this just shows you the problems we have. Why did I say the continuous spate of high crime, the crime epidemic for that matter? I know Gambians, we easily forget. Because we've been here since this government came to power. I mean, there's no time that it has let off, but we keep on forgetting, or if it just happened, but probably because of the magnitude of what happened, we jump on it. But some of us will remember the young lady, school going youth that was murdered with another man and dumped in the well, and others that have happened, and other spate of crime that have happened, the armed robberies that have happened when millions of dollars are claimed to be involved and everything. Still, we haven't got one person brought forward to be prosecuted. And on that note, to explain that it's an insecurity. And apart from the murders, we know of a lot of robberies happening and people feeling insecure. We know about that. The other one that was alarming was when the entire family was put on the hostage and been brutalized and attempted to rape. We have seen all those reports continuing. You see, something about crime is not that it's only happening in the Gambia, but what do we do with the situation? What does the government do in this aspect? The government, the police representing an arm of that government as an independent institution to operate, to save our lives, to keep us secure. And the other parts, community, society itself, how do we behave? You see, when we think about that, that's where we come to governance. The problem we have, it's not a policing problem. The problem we have is a governance problem. And until we solve the governance problem, we are not going to fix the insecurity. Until we fix the governance problem, we are not going to fix the insecurity. If we have a government that just disregards every values or human values, when we have a government that constitute themselves as a bunch of criminals, That's ignore every conventional concept of governance and just to do as they wish. Like kabudus or interest groups been running the country, and we expect that the rest of the country will just walk, would just, prosper. We are fooling ourselves. Because if we have to think about everything about policing is about governance. Everything about peace is about governance. It's not, the police are not to react, but the police should be part of the governance systems that ensure security happen. But if the police is remote control, politicized, and their priorities is anything political, and the rest of the thing they are contaminated, just as the entire society is contaminated on corruption, what do we expect to happen? Now, before we go out there blaming parents, I know people will always go, oh, the parents are not training this, parents are not training this. As if some of us who are parents saying this would or don't understand the challenges parents have, in fact, in this environment to bring up a child. And I hear this conventional thing always been said, oh, when we were children, when we were children. Time have gone on. The way we were brought up cannot be applied right now. The environment is completely different. Children have the world here. Yes, there is an element of control you can do, but does not mean that you can entirely control children with this. The environment itself has completely changed. From neighborhoods that we all know each other, very small, Gambia of 250,000, Gambia of 1 million, to Gambia of 2 million plus, we don't know. When a Gambia that is globalized, people can hop in and hop out, it's a different environment. We cannot go out there to blame parents for what, or parents are not training this parent out. There always be. Every generation will have that parent. But doesn't mean that parents in general are not doing what they meant to do. To bring their kids up. Parents will not. I don't know of parents that would deliberately want their children to be criminals or to live a life that is not a life that society did not approve of. I don't know of that parent. Then we cannot turn around to be blaming parents or parents are not bringing up kids like that. No, it's about governance, because what's helped parents is an enabling environment. Now, why governance in itself, we will get into detail of that. But let's talk about corruption. What government do to stand back corruption? And you will find out that most of what is happening here is a cause of corruption. And just the rampant corruption in the country and the continuous. Because remember, we inherited a system or a completely dysfunctional arrangement of a dictatorship, where people will say, oh, at the time of Yaya, this won't happen. That should be our understanding. What some of these things were happening is a lie. If someone said that entirely people were living safe in the Gambia, it's a lie, or it's a misunderstanding, or it's a campaign. It's a lie. People were murdered. There were many incidents. But in many cases, even it's not reported, because we don't live in a free society then. It's not even reported. People been mocked and so on. But again, it was not as it is now, because we live then in a closed society where we have soldiers constantly patrolling, but they were not patrolling for the security of the people. They were patrolling for the security of one person. Because do you know what? Because of the average Gambians were feeling insecure as well. Because you can be picked up any day, any night. You can be tortured. You can be killed. How many Gambians been killed in 22 years? Or we don't count that. If it is government killing us or the president, the dictator killing us, that doesn't count. That's security, is it? Is that security? Now, the complete form of, the complete failure of governance can be seen in every aspect of that country. Be in what happens in our hospitals, what happens in our schools. What do we think of when children fail in school? What conveyor belt do we think those children will go to? Most of them will go there. If you have 100,000 children every year, you have 50,000, 70,000 of them failing. Or probably it's too much. Let's say even 20,000 children failing to achieve any form of education. They fail academically and they don't have anything to help them engage themselves, to find their potential, be it the sports, be it the art, be it the technical skills. There's nothing there for them to do. Where do we think those children are going to end up? We're going to blame, yes, I know some people, again, because they want to support the government, they will blame, because mothers are not looking after their children to do well in school. But with all the other lack of funding and other failures in school, we don't want to hold the government accountable on that. The top people that support government will come, parents. Yes, parents have a role to play, but I tell you, if in certain environment, there's nothing you can do, absolutely. There's so much parent can do. The rest is a governance, and the governance would affect society itself, would improve society itself. The thing about, corruption, just as it happened, if corruption gets to, let's say, the effect of corruption on the health service, what happened? The equipments would not be purchased, the medicine would not be purchased, or whatever is purchased, the little medicine purchased, some of it will be still, because if you expect the president and the people around the president to be involved in massive corruption that everybody knows of, this corruption affecting the way of life of everybody. Literally, people cannot afford to do, to eat, to do things that they need, not want. You expect that society just to be upright when you have that rotten head up there. Now, if that corruption continues from the president, because yes, from the reports, we have seen the reports of the many reports actually, but the recent one is the airport $20. We have seen how it started from the president's office. And now we have seen the evidence again, how rich the president is, how the cook, even the cooks, that cook for the president, now they are rich, they are building mansions. We have seen Sidinjai and others are building mansions, not from their salary, it's from the corruption. Now, if that would trickle down, the corruption would trickle down to the directors, yes, most directors are corrupt. Most directors are corrupt. And trickle down and to some nurses, and some nurses will be corrupt. Because this is what corruption does. Now, some of those, that medicine would not get to the, because some of the medicine did not even get to the health service. Because from the procurement, the ministers, the permanent secretaries, the directors, the procurement officers have done their deal. Now, a little thing will get to the hospital, and you expect that the little that got to the hospital, that will stay in the hospital. No, that's a lie. It's most of it will go. You think you failure to buy the equipments, to buy extra equipments for standby, for things like that, it will work. No, you'll be surprised that there is someone or some people within the health service that will, yes, sabotage, will even go and sabotage that equipment in order for the patients to go private, because of they are getting something from the private for referring, what do you call it? Patients. It might be extreme to think of, and I tell you, this do happen because of corruption. People do desperate, or you call them satanic, whatever it is, they will do something like this. Now, let's look at the same example when corruption gets into crime. That's a crime. I mean, let's talk about violent crime. Now, we have seen Salaba Samate. People that know Banta, the guy that involved in the drugs, know that he have contacts, he have relationship with the president, he have relationship with the wife of the president, he have relationship with officers, members of the service. They all know him. Do you know why? Do you know why? The reason why the government cannot deal with the drug traffickers, those who bring in drugs. And again, this is not something new. I said this 2 years ago, even before some of the drugs were found in the country because of the geopolitics. I said, look, this is going to happen. We have to be prepared for this. And if this happened, this is what's going to happen, and everything is now what we're living up. When I was exposing these issues, no, it was seen as political, even though the evidence was out there. It's going to affect us. This is not a Gambia is not going on a transit point. Some of the drugs is going to be left here. It's going to affect us. But because of the people benefiting, and those are the same people propping up the government, now people supporting the government in the diaspora here and outside, or their so-called supporters, even spare this, but today they want to turn out to be as, oh, this is new. It's not new. It's systematic. Now, if you have all these drug cartels and contacts, the drug cartels are normally foreigners. Yes, South Americans, so whatever it is, different nationals. Yeah, why South Americans? Because most of it even come from South America. The heroin come from Afghanistan, obviously. Then you have some Pakistanis and Iranians and others. But again, you have interest groups, criminals groups, which sponsor terrorism and others. Be it Hezbollah, be it different these things, which see drugs as a way of, getting into business to make money. Now, all these people will be part of it. But they cannot just come into the country and do it. What do they have? They have counterparts. And those counterparts will be Gambians. And some of their people, obviously they'll come to the Gambia to recruit those counterparts. And do you think they come and they go and recruit the youths? No. They go and buy in to politicians. They'll go and buy into senior security officers. They'll go and buy into religious leaders. They'll go and buy into influential people. They don't go and buy into youths. No, because these are the people that will have to enable them to live in the country safely, so that they will not be arrested, they will not be dissing, and if anything happens, they can easily be let off and get away with it. Now, these people, obviously, they will use money, and they will know how to get their Gambian counterparts, who involved with politicians, who involved with the government. That's why we see the syllabus cemeteries, we see the banter, we see the orders and orders and orders. How do you see them support? The government. Now, when they do this, it's corruption. Now, they give them money. Where does the government think that people get? They don't know where they get the money from. They look the other way. The Ababakar Jawaras bringing arms into the country. We know Ababakar was poor as it is. He's a hustler. But since this Barrow government came, he became a multimillionaire. Where do you think he's got his money from? From dodgy contracts and anything else. Anything goes. But that person is allowed. A weapon trafficker is allowed to build police stations. Now you think that person would be controlled? A drug dealer is allowed to build police posts, Salaba Samate, to give government police officers CCTV. Then he is with the senior police officers like that. And what do you expect? This is where the problem is, failure of governance. Then, when they bring you drugs and anything, that's why, no, there's, how many, let's go on. The one at the Port Authority, some Lebanese were arrested, they were freed, no trial. The 3 ton of cocaine, no trial, one Gambian's become a victim. The connection of the Denton Bridge, activities in Denton Bridge and everything, everybody would escape. They will make sure all of these people escape, nothing comes out of it, you don't hear anything about it. Nobody arrested, people questions, we are not even arrested. The 500, with this thing of hashish and other things, nobody get arrested. Oh, sorry, they get arrested, nobody got prosecuted. Let's go on. But do you know what? All the time they will show you young people they arrest with 1 kilo, 10 kilo, 5 kilo, 15 kilos of jamba. Weed. But you never see them arrest these people that are bringing in cocaine, dealing with cocaine, amphetamines and everything else. And if you look at the underlying problems of this, start from corruption, but what next? The youths consuming the drugs. Why the youths are consuming these drugs? It's available. 1, 2, they are idle. 3, they don't have, they fail. We failed them through the educational system. We failed them to create a sanitized environment for them. It's governance. That's governance. before we talk about the police, that governance. We need to create a youth environment that are sanitized. That youth can get engagement. You can engage them because youths are active. Their minds are active. Their system, their humans and everything are active to try to experiment. What services do we have in that country that are engaging the youths on that? Look at the failure of one thing we show so much interest is football. The government cannot even get you one functional football field. After all the money they collected from surcharges from customers using GSM networks. How many stadiums did they, foundation stones throughout the country? Not one have been delivered yet. Where is the corruption at that? Look at the Independence Stadium. Where are the other facilities within communities? Where do we have any halls that children will go and be safe? Do we have basketball pitch children will go and to be safe? I mean, wherever, what environment do we have with the children? Do you go to the Gambia and see anybody can open a hall and have a video these things and there and they can show anything. They can show any movie. And anybody can go in and watch the movie, whether pornography, whether violence, whatever, corrupted. Do we have anything to control that anywhere you go? That's why you see Gambian children now, even their lingo, this thing, they're not speaking Creole. No, what they're speaking is Nigerian Creole. When they speak Wolof, they are not speaking the Gambian Wolof. What they speak, Senegalese Wolof. Do you know what that is? The influence from the media, because we don't empower our media. We don't have the government don't have a strategy. They don't understand the importance of this media. They don't understand the importance of social media. What do we have? No, we are going to think of laws so that we can ban people on social media. People like Ben and others. That's what they're trying to target. They don't understand how to harness social media to empower the youths. Youths to be creative, youths to be, because some of these youths have dropped out from school or have failed in the academic thing. These people are very good. Some of these youths are very good in technically. They could have done well in this thing. Hello? Man, you live there. Nothing important. Okay. Yeah. That's nothing there. Now, why is it this important? Now look at some of the crimes, how these crimes are mirrored to what happened in Nollywood movies. Look at some of the behaviors of sexualization mirrored to what happens in Senegalese drama. Because that's what is available out there. That's what is available out there. Where is the content generated in the country? What did the government do to enable to make sure content are generated for people to be educated? Nothing. Now, how can we just blame parents for all this? That's government. That's what failure of governance. This is what brought us the insecurity. We have to understand the causes of crime. Let's look at this. Most of these crimes are committed by youths. And most of the crime, I said 99% of this crime committed by youths are youths under the influence of drugs. Is that not so? Now, if we want to fight, why didn't we fight the causes of the crime? Why did we fight the drug dealers? No, we cannot fight the drug dealers. Because they're so powerful. Because they have a buy-in from the president. Now, if you have Silabas Samates or people connected to Silabas Samates, or Silabas Samates can walk into any police station and get someone out. Yes, I'm sorry I'm using his name, but he's well known about it. But he's not the only one. Some of these people I don't even know. But I'll tell you, because they have control over the police. This is how it works. Every country that is not governed well, the police would not be functional. The police will never function because the governance is not functional. If the governance is not functional, the police cannot function. Policing is about governance. It's not about reactions. And what we see is reaction. Oh, we pull up all checkpoints. For what? I mean, it's just crazy. Now, The the causes of crime, as you said, the youths, the environment that youths need to have, the failure of the educational system, the thing. Let's look at it. GRTS, what is GRTS? Now, what is GRTS? Because if it's always been hijacked and politicized. It's always been hijacked and politicized for the means what the government want people to see. Now, this government think of, they said, oh, they have communication. How many communication ministers they have? Digital communication, minister of communication, or what productivity did these people have? Now, this is where we have to think of that the government have failed in that. There's something we call public safety. What do we have from public safety to help maintain public safety? In this sense, that's nil, nothing, absolutely everything is politicized, and in fact, a government, in fact, not only politicized, taking part in the crime that are committed because of the corruption they are engaged in. Now, social cohesion. What does this government do for social cohesion? Nothing, absolutely, because of this government and what's government, past government, what they do, polarized society. It's about tribalism, it's about sectarianism, it's about this. Or it's about Ahmadiyas, or it's about Wahhabis, or it's about this, it's about that's all been polarized on. Things that we didn't hear in the First Republic. It's Al-Sunnah, it's Al-Jamaat, it's Al-Lodi. We didn't hear these things and did not reduce Gambians this thing. And look at today, the most people that would tell you this, look at their beards to try to show testimony that they are religious, but they are the most corrupt for most of the things they do. Because of people, some women cover up doesn't mean that they are pious. Because now it's something they sell. Look at all the politicians when they start with a prayer. When they are praying to scam you, they're praying to divide you. And the next thing they spit out is all evil. Most things they spit out is all evil. After the prayer they do, okay, let's do our Salatul Fatiha. After the Salatul Fatiha, it's about the divisiveness. Social cohesion. What does this government do for social cohesion? And social mobility. People have to have hope for the tomorrow. People have to have hope for tomorrow. And in order to have hope for tomorrow, housing is part of it. Our basic needs of shelter and availability of food, nutritious food. Education is principle for social mobility. And if we say education, not everybody, primary school, high school, university. No, some of us will go to primary school and divert to vocational training or from secondary school vocational training. Yes, some will go to be academics, some will go to be scientists, some will go to be this. But there are so many other people that we need to be skilled that are not academic, that cannot take this route because of some of the challenges they have in their lives. What do we have? We have alternatives to educate them. But in that sense, as they are youths, they need an environment to find that out. You see, when we think of even playgrounds, when we did make playgrounds, you will be surprised that some of these playgrounds are designed with psychologists to help youths to find themselves. You know, obstacle courses. You know, after the First World War, when they started to realize that they would need more men to fight, what happened? The school curriculum for PE started to be changed to introduce a sort of assault courses, obstacle crossings, in order to prepare the kids to agility and so on to start to go that way. So many other things. And those environments are not operated. Now, from a 2-year-old, what do they entertain them? This. And do we control what's in there? No. Go and check the Gambian content in this. It's about insults. It's about wiggling our bodies, exposing our bodies. It's about this. Go and look at the content in this. Go and look at the people that have biggest following on social media on Gambian content. What is it about? Not anything educative. Because of what? That's the environment we create. Because of the governance. The government has a role to play on that. That's why if a government understands, how do we create, you don't just say, oh, well, we work on social mobility. What did you do to facilitate the social mobility? What do you do to create the social cohesion? What did you do to have a policy, develop policies for public safety? How do you educate people about public safety, about drugs, about, about a lot of things people get involved in? This is the problem the youths are going through. We cannot just turn around to blame the youths and their parents. The government have failed. There's nothing government systems, strategies out there to do that. They are all engaged in two things: using divisive politics and corruption. That's two things they have. Go and look at all the activities they had before the election. After election, you don't hear them. Now they are just engaged in corruption, because now, until campaign come out again, now they will talk about the Mandinkas, they will talk about the Fullers, they will talk about all these things. But do you hear that again? No, not now. Let elections come. And we, some of the so-called educated, will be stupid enough to chew in all this fucking, divisive politics. And think that's the issue. Oh, it's a political party issue. That's not true. You can belong to a political party or not. But the most important thing is accountability. All else is accountability. Now, let's look at the police. Now, if we talk about the governance and everything, we create police services for our region. Now, when we came out from the dictatorship, we knew we need a reform. Security sector reform. Where is the security sector reform? I'm not only talking about the army and this, but let's just talk about the police. Security sector reform in the police. Reforms are leadership led. If the government is not led properly, we don't expect institutions to be led properly. If institutions are not led properly, we don't expect the people within the institution to function properly. Let me put this caveat here. There are fantastic police officers. Be senior, be junior, be the middle, or all the rank and files, who just want to go out there to serve, so that they would be contributing to their national quota, but again to take care of their families. They are there. But if they are wrongly led, what do you expect? In fact, most of them would lose those values and just follow the decision because they want to survive the system. What did we have? What did we have with the police services? Now, one thing is reforms we didn't have, leadership led. The structures, if you have the leadership led, that leaders should think of. The government should have think of, now how do we approach this? The structures are wrong. Because all the structures were done to do what? To protect one person and one person interest. That was the dictator. The capacity is wrong. Why is the capacity wrong? Because if anybody, most of the people that got to a certain level or ranks got there not because of their ability, not because of their good character or nature, it's because of their enable, and they are ready to do anything to sell their souls for the dictator or anybody that guarantee them a take home or allow them to do what they want to do. The capacity have to be checked. 3, you cannot reform people when you don't have the intelligence. You cannot reform people when you have information to train them, retrain them, reorient them. The way they think needed to be reoriented to serve the people. No, because of now the government in place wants the same thing that the dictator had. Now they have to maintain things as they are. That's why the priorities is not about public safety. The priorities is not about the progress of the nation. That's why we don't have the reforms. Now, look at it. Where do they invest in PIU? And what the PIU is about to react to any forms of dissent. Tell people to express them. PIU. Everywhere you go, to the top to the tail of the country, we have PIU everywhere. But we don't see those PIU go out there to do the patrols, to do anything. We have the PIU taking them to private businesses to look after those private businesses, but we don't have PIU patrolling our streets. They are militarized. When they thought that 3 years judgment is anything, and I tell you, if they had what they needed to have, they would have understand that 3 years judgment, they in fact empowered 3 years judgment to be seen as something big. Yes, because they will do that in order to get more funds to say that we have to prepare ourselves to fight the PIU. Do you know how many millions have been spent to so-called fight the PIU? To fight the 3 years judgment. We need millions to prepare for the 3 years judgment to do this. They went and bought tanks that are absolute. Have they ever used the tanks for anything? No, there's a lot of things could have been done and there would have been no problems, and Trieste Jordan would have come and do their march, and if they have tried anything would not have worked. Because there are policing strategies that could have been applied. The intelligentsia would have worked to ensure that these things would not be disrupted. That's what institutions do. But no, it's the German thing. We have to do, let's go bring 2 tanks. What did these tanks give us? PIU. Now, the police cannot do it. We have a bunch of criminals. Now, again, what did I say about drug dealers? Now, we have someone like Jesus. You think Jesus and others, not only Jesus and others, many of them were involved. And they are still there. And some of these people are advancing mentioned there on the white paper to be dismissed, to be get out. No, instead they were reinstated by the Barrow government. Why did they reinstate them? This is what happened. We have a failure of governance, and the police is not led properly. There are brilliant police officers that have been proven, that have served so much time in the United Nations, have done peacekeeping, that have done a lot of other things. They have not even been considered. And you bring all these deadwoods, police advisors, deadwoods as this, they don't have the mindset, they don't have the qualification, they don't have what is Yaya Jammeh promoted them to be IGs or deputy IGs, to be they don't have what it takes to be it. They would not have passed rank of sergeant if it was regimented properly. But now some of them are operational commanders, some of them are this. What do you expect to happen? They are much interested in how they maintain their job, and they do anything that the politician expected of them, and they will look after themselves and do what they normally do and fraternize with business, so-called people. Some of these criminals, you think they are businessmen. Yes, because of the drug have to be sold, and the money laundering and everything, they run businesses and they are all cahoot and they look after each other. This is where the problem is. We cannot just turn out to blame the youth. Most of the crime committed are drug. Now, tell me this. Didn't we hear Operation Zero Crime? We had the anti-crime unit. What did they do? Reaction, and we don't policing. Look. We have here all these jargons, all these operations. What did it do? It's not sustainable. Because you have to think about resources. You have to think about training. You have to reorientation. Look, we have to do all that. If you don't reform them, they are just men in uniform. Does not make them police officers. And that's an insult to many police officers who are upright or try to be upright. Didn't we hear Operation Zero Crime? We saw the Inspector General going out with these things. What happened? What happened? I tell you, you will hear another operation, another this. It's not sustainable. Didn't you hear about policing community, community policing? What did you see any fact of that? No. Or we are closing some small police stations or police posts because of this. Did you see anything? Have you seen anything? The impact of that? No. Reaction. Now, they say they're pulling out illegal. This is the biggest insult. Since this government came, we have these checkpoints. And they want to tell us all these years they've been running illegal checkpoints and they knew about that. Look, I don't have time to go into checkpoints and the pros and cons and whatever, how it's going to be led. But to tell you something, for the police to come with a press release to say that, just to tell the people that, oh, we're taking, and people don't even know what is what. Oh, are there illegal ones? Are they going to stop the police from just picking up a stop and going anywhere to do it? What is it? We don't even know. That's what you have, is reactionary. They will come out with a statement again about it. We cannot govern by press release. There should be a structure. There should be a capacity. Capacity means the people, their knowledge. Capacity means the equipment, these things. There are a lot of things they need. But they will not have it. Because of what the corruption is depriving the police from having the funding they meant to have. Corruption is fueling the crime, bringing in drugs, making youths not have the funds to education, to skill training, turning them to be criminals. This government is turning children to be criminals. There's no funding to educate the people. I'm not saying in schools, but civic education. People to be patriotic, people to be loving each other. These are things that you do content. But no, what do we rely on? You see, you go to Senegal, there are programs that are influenced by the government for the needs of society, some for the needs of their political agenda. But there are so many content done by any theater group. They just want, okay, what sells now? It's sex. Sex sells. Now let's be raunchy. Let's be sure that's all they do. And that's what they do. What sells now? Violence. Go to Nigeria, they'll show you all form of violence. What sells now is voodoo. Let's show them all form of voodoo. Now it gets to people's head. What sells now? Oh, let's talk about sacrifice, human sacrifice. They produce human sacrifice. But Gambians don't have content for Gambians because it's not been enabled. There should be. You see, if you think about this, we don't have time for that program. We did programs on that. There's ways that we could have reformed this TV station thing. It should be absolute. Gambia, we are of 2 million. We should be innovative. We should think something different. We should not just follow the conventional wisdom of you have to have a TV station. No. Why can't we move to something else? We have, look, we have the time, we could have talked about it. And that will have created an industry of content creators that will create the content, bring in history, bring in other cultures, bring in other things, and Gambians to benefit from. But it doesn't happen. Then the failure here is there's no policing strategy, there's no policing reforms, it's just reactionary. And because of there's no reforms, we still have the corrupt woods, dead woods everywhere else who just became officers because of it was a Yaya Jammeh time. They are still there, but they are stopping the young, dynamic officers that could have been today in charge and part of their work and do different. But again, that even will not work if governance fails. Because the entire thing is about governance and failure, and bring in anything in there would not work. The corruption, as we said, the impunity for crime, we have seen what it does. PIU been militarized, that's all they want. To prepare to assault the people, just like Yaya Jammeh needed the PIU for. That's what we have. We don't have a policy strategy. Then this is why we have the insecurity. I have to contest it in 40 minutes. I wanted to do it 30 minutes, but it's a wider program, and we'll do it again when we have a time. Thank you.